because do you track macros?
No.
Neither of us track macros. It's working out pretty well.
Say so. Especially for you.
Welcome to another episode of the CBG Radio Podcast. We have got a good one for you today. It's our first ever coach spotlight. We've never had another CBG coach with us. So really excited to have this coach join us. Before we get to that, if you're watching this and you are not subscribed to this channel, what are you doing? Subscribe to the channel. Help us out. There's all kinds of content that we're putting out. We put out 2 shows a week. Justin's always posting stuff and doing stuff. It's good stuff. So
we've done so much for you.
Exactly. We're doing so much for you. Just do that one little thing. Hit the subscribe button and like the video. Don't do it for me. Do it for Gab. Okay. I am
poor in likes.
Yeah, we need the likes. We are thirsty for likes. So do that. All right. So we're going to talk to another CBG coach today about eating to be strong.
Yeah.
And
I just want to say really quickly, Paige, have we said Paige yet? Did I just bury the lead?
It. Good job. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
We wasted the good surprise on you.
I love that movie. Okay, well, sorry, I blew it. But I do want to say Paige is an incredible coach. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Paige is incredible. Paige is extraordinarily brilliant and just has such a knack for getting through to people in a way that I think a lot of coaches can be really knowledgeable, but maybe don't have the communication skills. So if you are interested in getting strong, this episode is imperative because Paige is brilliant. And I think she's going to have a lot of really great stuff to share.
All right. Well, there's the intro for Paige. So I'll just bring her on in here. What's up, Paige? Welcome to the show.
That was so kind. Thank you.
I mean it.
Thank you.
Sorry, I ruined the moment.
No, that was a perfect intro.
It was good. It's good. Maybe you should do all the intros.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, you were just particularly passionate about this person and their intro, so I get it.
Yeah.
But thanks for joining us, Paige. And you look really strong. We follow you on the Instagram, and you're slinging weights around, training hard. It's awesome to see. So a little something about this, right?
Yeah.
So let's see if we can find a good one in here. There was one. Oh yeah, look at this one. I was like, wow, look at that mobility in the hips, just straight down in the.
That's what you get for dancing before weight.
Okay.
8 years of dance experience.
Nice. Yeah, that's good. So the thing is the last, probably a lot, maybe even since we've started this podcast, there's always been a focus more on fat loss. And there's always been both. It seems like where, you talk about body, composition and especially the clients that we've interviewed, a lot of them had improved body composition at the same time as improving performance. But we've never really only focused on eating to be strong. So that's why we wanted to have you on here because like I said, you seem like you're pretty strong. You know a little something about how to eat to be strong.
Yeah.
So I want to start with where was what changed for you, I guess. And because this let me bring this post up here. So you specifically reference body image in this one.
Yeah.
So was body image something related to dance? You mentioned that you were a dancer.
Mm-hmm.
So was your body image connected to being a dancer first and early in your life?
I think it was connected, but I don't think that was the source.
Okay.
Because I've reflected on that a lot, and I've thought about where does a negative perception of body image come from? It's something I've worked on a lot. I think it's definitely connected because you're in front of a mirror It's about aesthetics. It's about the lines. It's about how you look. And dancers do have a typical body type, right? Like you kind of want to fit in, you want to look a certain way. And like if you're doing ballet, you're in this tight little leotard and you want to feel comfortable in it.
Yeah.
So I do think I was impacted just by being in the dance world. But I think like dealing with body image was just part of growing up, seeing media messages. But I don't think for me, I think dance didn't help. Like it probably made it a little bit worse for me, but really where everything shifted was actually lifting weights. Like that's where it all shifted for me in a positive way.
Yeah. Well, and that's what you say in the post, like that was like the what's flipped your perspective on things. So how did your weightlifting start? Like how did you get started in wanting to lift weights and then wanting to lift heavy weights?
CrossFit.
CrossFit.
That's where it all started.
Yeah.
For a lot of people. But I did like a free community class and then I think it had cleans or something like that. So that in combination with the university I was going to, they had an Olympic weightlifting once a week class that I was going to as well. And I just learned the total basics of technique. Like I think I used a dowel or a bar for 2 months straight and just really perfected the technique. And then I would bring that into the CrossFit classes. And then I signed up for CrossFit. But then I noticed that I really didn't like the CrossFit-y part of it. Like I
Like the
hated
Metcons and
the Metcons, and I was so bad at it. And then I noticed that I would start to cherry pick all the barbell days because they would post like a week in advance.
yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna go to that day because it's the snatches, and then there's some jerks there. And then they had an Olympic lifting class as well, in addition to the WOD. So I would just go to those. And then I did that for about 5 months. And then I just was like, you know what? Like there's people that come here at 5:30 every morning and just do Olympic lifting. And it was New Year's of like 2018. And I completely flipped and just went right into it. And then I did my first competition in April and I was hooked ever since.
Nice.
There's just such a draw to chasing the numbers and getting stronger. And I hate to, like, for lack of a better term, got so super addicted to it and just loved it.
Yeah, that's cool. So then your focus went away from what your body looks like to what your body can actually do, performance wise. So then how did that change? So if we're talking about like eating to be strong, how did that change then the way that you started to look at food and the way that you needed to eat?
I got a nutrition coach probably within my first year of lifting, and I resisted the change for a long time. I think my first goal was lose weight. Like I hired a coach, and that was like my main goal. And I didn't need to lose weight.
Lifting weights, like even while you were lifting weights, that was you wanted to lose weights and okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was a longer progression. It wasn't this like immediate, oh my gosh, this is great. Because I think you're battling other things internally when it comes to eating more as a female. I'm definitely generalizing right now, but
yeah, I agree though. You're right.
You're coming head to head with like body image and all of this stuff that we've been conditioned, like eat less, be smaller. And so I think that progression to learning to eat to be strong, it just took longer for me. And I find working with so many other people, it takes longer for people. It's because you're breaking down all of that conditioning and relearning a new way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got a nutrition coach. She was awesome. I worked with her for like 4 years, 3 or 4 years, I think. And she really supported me and was like, met me where I was at. So if I wanted to lose weight, she'd support me in that. But over I'd say probably first 2 years, I really was like, okay, this is not really getting me to where I want to be. And I need to eat more. So it was like started off in a calorie deficit. I was really tired. And then probably for the first time in my adult life, I actually learned to eat at maintenance and just stay there and not try dieting. And that's crazy to say because it was like the first time.
Yeah.
I was probably like 16 that I wasn't trying to diet. And like at the time I was like, I think 27. So, yeah, it was an interesting progression. I'd say that I'm still working on it. Like it's not like I'm done and I'm not working on the internal parts of it. Like you still come head to head with like body image stuff. So, yeah.
Okay. What have
Yeah.
you noticed about like your body image in general? Like your perspective of it, I guess. Like I'm trying to figure out how to like because you're training to be strong, right? To increase the lifts that you're doing.
Mhm.
So like what do you see when you look in the mirror now?
It's a good question. I've done a complete turnaround from when I first started. Like I felt like I said in that post that you shared that it
Mhm.
felt like I was like plagued with body image issues,
Mhm.
right? Because they really felt like it held me back. Like it would like impact my confidence in the gym and
Yeah.
like how I would navigate through the world. It was really difficult, but I don't feel that way whatsoever anymore. I think now I just have like a day like every other human being where you're just like, not feeling too swift. But
Mm.
it's not like this like plaguing feeling anymore.
Yeah.
But that really I think is testament to the internal work that I've done because I always like to say, in order to transform your body, you actually have to transform your mind.
Mm.
And so I've done so much of that over the last 10 years. And so now I don't feel dissatisfied. I'm actually so thankful for how much I can lift and how much I can eat
Yeah.
too.
That's awesome.
That's fun.
So maybe it's that you don't really pay attention as much to what's in the mirror anymore. Like it's not like maybe like before maybe you'd look in the mirror and you were actually like looking for something to nitpick at, right, about yourself, but now
Mhm.
you just kind of like maybe you're just not paying attention as much anymore because you're more focused on um or whatever you've healed internally, like you said,
Mm.
things that you've done internally. Um all right, so then eating then. So what's eating like these days for you?
Oh, lots of protein. Like a lot, a ridiculous amount of protein. Um,
Do you ever
just I
find yourself like where you're full and there's still stuff on your plate and you're like, "Oh,
all the time.
yeah.
Truly. So yeah, I'm trying to eat more all the time. But one thing that's a little bit different, I will say, with competing in Olympic weightlifting versus CrossFit is the weight classes.
Mm,
So that's one thing that can get a little sticky with body image, I think, for a lot of women who compete in the weight class sport. But for me, it's like I'm still trying to eat as much as possible to maintain my strength, but I'm also competing in 5 weeks, and I know that I have to cut down just a little bit for the next 5 weeks. So there is a lot of, like, constant monitoring,
yeah.
but because I'm in a healthy spot with myself and my mindset and with food, it doesn't bother me. It's kind of like a fun game, like, I like the process of getting there, but it does add another layer of, like, of difficulty, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
because you have to be a certain weight for at least one day.
Let
Mm,
me ask you this, Paige. I love that. I love that you are in a place where manipulating your body weight for competition is not something that like overwhelms you or makes you feel badly or has any kind of like negative impact. But I do find that no matter who you're coaching or who you're talking to, like the number on the scale does freak people out.
Yeah.
And so one thing that I'm a really firm believer in is the idea of exposure therapy, where it's like if you know the number, it can't really have an emotional toll on you. Like it
Yes.
can't. If you know what you weigh on a good day, on a bad day, when you're expecting your period, when you are like, you enjoyed yourself over the weekend or whatever, then that number doesn't really have any kind of weight emotionally. Do you feel that kind of being hyper aware or just aware in general of your weight has taken away some of the power from that?
Yes. Yeah, I love that you brought this up too. There's some research on this. I need to find the article, but they studied the impact of weighing more frequently versus less frequently. And I think a lot of people make the snap judgment that if you weigh more often, it equals bad. It's not a good thing. That's bad for your mindset. But what they actually found was it was better because people just see it more as this objective data point. Like,
Yeah.
and then you understand that you're going to fluctuate every single day for so many different reasons, and that's okay. It doesn't change anything about who you are, doesn't change anything about your value, what you bring to the world. And it doesn't actually always mean that you're like failing if your weight has fluctuated. It just goes up because you slept like crap the night before.
Yeah.
You know? So I love that you bring that up. And I totally agree. I do try to meet clients where they're at if they're like not ready to weigh, but I do like explain the research and say like maybe give it a try and see how you feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw actually very recently I saw a part of a podcast with okay, so one of Gab's favorite, Lane Norton.
Not one of.
I
Not one of.
the
Me
favorite.
favorite?
He's the God I pray to at night. I love
So
him.
Gab's favorite. So I said his name first because the next name is going to get Gab triggered. But he was
Don't
on
say Huberman.
yes. He was on with Huberman. And but he talked and they talked about something about I don't remember exactly how they got to the subject of weighing yourself. But I thought Lane Norton had an interesting like way of looking at it. He talked about he's like I weigh myself every day but not in an obsessive way. Like in like what you said like just it's just a data point for me.
Yeah.
And he talked about how each week he would take his average weight and that was his weekly weigh-in. So, because of those fluctuations, so every day he would weigh in and then whatever that average was after, he may have a day where because he's like, sometimes I bounce like 5 pounds, in one day, like all of a sudden I'm holding water. But it was that average each week that would show him where he's really at. And I thought that was like, wow, that's actually a really good idea, I think, to look at it that way and to help track progress in a way that doesn't feel obsessive, where you're just like, oh no, what happened? Oh yay, it's good. Oh no, what happened? Like these
People really
bouncing of
do that.
emotions. Yeah. Yeah. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Um,
If you weigh yourself once a week and it just happens to fall on a heavy day, it's discouraging.
yeah.
It can throw people off. But you're going to have highs, you're going to have lows. Control for them and find the average.
Yeah.
Love that.
Well,
I'm definitely not like a ditch the scale coach at all. Like I'm like, just use it as information. And if it's really triggering you, to be quite honest, that's just giving you information of some things that you might want to tend to.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's a good point. But yeah, Gab, you might remember I didn't like weighing in on Mondays. For some reason, like the weekend, and I wasn't even like horrible on the weekend, but for some reason, whatever was going on the weekend, maybe it was because like I wasn't like eating on the same type of schedule through the week, because it was easy to prepare. But like I would weigh in on Monday and I'd be like, what the heck? Like I did not go crazy on the weekend. Why? And I'd be like, listen, my weigh-ins are Tuesday now. Because Tuesday I would weigh in and it'd be like 2 pounds gone or something. And I'd be like, what in the world is going on? So yeah, so but I like the average now. Like I think I might do more of like an average. I think that would have worked for me good.
Do
So
like Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
yeah.
3 times a week is good.
Yeah. No, that's good. Well, Paige, that's awesome. Thank you for joining us. And do you have anything else, Gab? Any questions? I don't want to cut you off.
No. I think really, my last question for Paige would be like, if there's one message that you could give to, particularly, I think the female population, those of us who do want to get stronger, who do want to have performance improvements, but maybe are scared to eat more. What is sort of like your last wisdom that maybe you'd want to impart on them?
That's a really good question. They want to get stronger, but they're scared to eat more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just reminding yourself that you can't build a brick house without the foundation. And so we have to unlearn that it's eating less is going to help grow your booty. Essentially, you actually have to eat enough. You need fuel to grow new tissues. And there's so many other incredible things that could come on the other side of that too, right? You gain more energy, you can improve your relationship with food, and you can finally get off of that yo-yo cycle. So it's just getting a coach can help you to get the support and the encouragement to take the leap, because it's not easy. And sometimes just normalizing, like, look, it is hard when you've been told your entire life that you need to eat less to finally eat more. That's tough. And just like honoring that and recognizing that, but having that team behind you being like, it's going to be okay, you can do it. And then document your progress. That's like the last thing is that's one thing I've loved that I've done over the last 6 years or so is I've documented where I started and where I'm at now. And it's really cool to see that transformation and see how strong I've gotten, and even like body composition photos. You can see all of the change happening in a positive way from eating more.
Yeah, that's good. Well, and that's a good segue too. If you want help, if you don't have a coach, if you're not a current CBG client, click the link in the description and find out how CBG can help you. It's helped me. I was a client of Gab's for a while. That's how we made this connection. But and there's also other episodes of other clients too that we've spotlighted. So check out those episodes and see how they helped relearn, because all of them kind of have a very similar story and what you're talking about, Paige, and like kind of like unlearning some things while you're learning things, right? And just like Paige said, like a coach can help do that. So so if that's what you're looking for, if you haven't taken that step, we encourage you to click that link and do that and learn how CBG can really help you out and help you achieve your goals. And if you get linked up with Paige, it'll help you get strong. So
you're very fortunate.
Yeah. So you can also you could request Paige if that's your goal. Like if you have a specific goal and your goal is that you want to get strong and you want to lift heavier weights than you currently lift now, then do that too. When you do the call, say, hey, I saw the episode with Paige and I think she should be my coach. So there you go. A little plug for Paige, for Coach Paige. So thanks again for being here though, Paige. Really appreciate you giving your time. And hopefully we get to see you again.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to end it there. So for Gab and for Coach Paige, I'm Joel. And all three of us are telling you to quit tracking your macros. And we'll see you next time. Peace out.